everybody is going to need a piece of paper, a lined paper, and a pencil for the next activity. Number 2 is go get paper for your group. You have your own pencil at your desk or tables. And restart the video when everybody is ready. Okay, now that everybody has a piece of paper and a pencil, we're going to talk about how to multiply fractions again. Today isn't much different than yesterday. We are just adding bigger numerators to the equation. So for example, let's look at the first problem. It says Jan had 3/5 can of crispy rice treats. She sent 1/3 of the treats. Typo. Delete that. 1/3 of the treats to school. What fraction of the whole pan did she send to school? So the first step, we always want to solve these types of problems with a rectangular fraction model. So we are going to draw a rectangle. And our math problem here is 3/5 times 1/3. So make sure you draw the rectangle and label this. You can always pause the video throughout if I'm going too fast to let students catch up to what I have drawn. So the first thing you have to think about, I have 3/5 here. So I have to represent fifths going across, going this way. So I have to split this rectangle into 5 equal sized groups. To do that, I just go like this. I need 4 lines going down. Next, I can highlight 3 out of the 5. I am going to make them yellow. So there's my 3/5. Now I need to split this whole rectangle into thirds. I do that by drawing 2 lines going across that way. Let me make my so I should still have my 3/5 on there, but then I drew the 2 lines to get my thirds. And if I were to do this whole thing, this is 1/3, I'm going to make that blue, but then I'm going to take these 3, and since yellow and blue make green, I'm going to make that green. So I know how many squares they overlap. So my answer here is going to be how many green squares do I have out of the total number of squares here. So when I look at this, I have 3 green squares out of the 15. So your answer in this case is 3/15. So this is not the same. This is the same as yesterday. The only problem is that they want you to simplify your fraction. Fraction you're going to come up with as answers is going to need to be simplified. Let's look at how to simplify 3/15. So I go back to what we've learned a long time ago. So to simplify 3/15, you have to divide the 3 and the 15, the numerator and the denominator, by the GCF, the greatest common factor, which in this case is 3. Make this a little easier to read. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 equals 5, so the simplified answer is 1/5. So your final answer to this word problem is Jan sent 1/5 of the pan of crispy rice treats to school. So nothing's different from yesterday. You're just having to simplify the fraction at the end. So we're going to get 3 overlapping, however many overlapped, over, that's my numerator, over how many total rectangles there are. Second problem. Jan had 3/4 of the pan of crispy rice treats. She spent 1/3 of the treats, sent 1/3 of the treats to school. Man, gonna have that coming up all the time. They copied slides. She sent 1/3 of the treats to school. What fraction of the whole pan did she send to school? So in this case, we are 3/4 times 1/3. Well, so how do I split this into fourths? That's how I do it, with 3 lines going across. Make sure you draw that. And I highlight 3 of them because that would be 3 out of the 4. Again, you can always pause the video. I can only make these videos 15 minutes long, so if you need to pause it for students to either you need to explain understanding or you just need to give them more time to draw these pictures, please do. So the next one I have to do 1/3 going up. And you could also always pause and ask them what am I going to do next, and then you can see if they're right as you go up. Next, you're going to split it into thirds, 1, 2, with 2 lines. And I would have highlighted all of this and made it blue, but since these 3 overlap, that becomes the green. So I have 3 out of 4, 8, 12. So my answer here is 3/12. So but the answer is 3/12, so it has to be simplified. The only number that goes into both 3 and 12 is 3. So 3 is our GCF. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So the final answer is Jan sent 1/4 of the pan of crispy rice treats to school. 1/4 is the same as 3/12. It's just simplified. Well, try to solve 1/2 times 4/5 using a fractional rectangular model. So again, I need to split this rectangle into halves. I do that by splitting it down the middle and shading in one of the halves. Next thing is I have to split this rectangle into fifths going up. The whole rectangle, the whole big rectangle, not just part of it, the whole thing into fifths. So in that case, I need 4 lines going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would highlight all of these would be blue, 4/5, except for I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that are overlapping with the yellow and the blue to make them green. So I have 4 out of 10. So the answer is 4/10, but 4/10 isn't simplified. What is the highest number that goes into both 4 and 10? You should have picked 2. The answer is 2, so I divide 4 by 2 and get 2, and divide 10 by 2 and get 5, so the final fraction is 2/5. In this case, it wasn't a word problem, so I'm not answering the question. I'm not putting it in a sentence. The answer is just 2/5. Hopefully, this is not much more difficult than what we did yesterday. I know a lot of you were absent yesterday. Hopefully, you caught on to this already. This is the end of this video. The next thing you'll be doing is the problem set.